Breakfast food has always been a large part of many people's lives. It is so influential that it has forever implanted this horrifying Nickelodeon commercial that I just remembered. Breakfast can be defined as the first meal you eat when you wake up, whatever time that is, or is restricted towards a certain time frame, usually around the times of 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Well, according to the McDonald's breakfast menu. However, whatever you consider to be breakfast time is irrelevant. What we can agree on is what we consider breakfast food. I didn't know this, but I can barely think of any cuisine that uses eggs outside of breakfast. That's irrelevant to this video, but that's something I think you should know. While there are many types of breakfast food, there are only two foods that have stood the test of time and have been a staple in diets across the world. Some may say these two foods define what breakfast is. That is, the pancake and the waffle. Pancakes and waffles are usually what you think of when you think of breakfast, and eggs too, I guess. They are both simple to make, sweet treats, and endlessly customizable, making them some of the best options for a breakfast meal. However, pancakes and waffles are two sides of the same coin. They both have similar ingredients, shaped similar, and obviously syrup worthy. With these in mind, which of them is the better breakfast food, and why is it the waffle? Let's think about this thoroughly. What makes one option preferable over the other? Let's take the pros of pancakes. Depending on who you ask, they are easier to make. However, this difficulty is offset by having to time the flip of your pancake to make sure it isn't burnt. It requires less cleanup and less equipment. All you really need to make a pancake is, well, a pan. There is nothing special required for it unless you go out of your way to buy a pancake maker, but at that point just buy a waffle maker instead. Pancakes have a much older history compared to waffles. It can even be dated to 600 BC in ancient Greece. With this in mind, what are the cons of pancakes? Well, it's painfully obvious. It is much worse pouring syrup over pancakes than waffles. Having the syrup pour everywhere around the stack of pancakes may look photogenic, but consider how messy it is trying to eat it. You're going to get sticky hands and feel gross in general. It is thus a requirement to eat pancakes with utensils, but fuck that, I want to eat it with my bare hands. As mentioned before, there is a much higher risk of making poor pancakes than it is with waffles. A burnt pancake is just sad. Now, as humans, we have realized the cons of such inferior cooking that we've opted to add science and engineering towards such an outdated food. Enter the waffle. The first mention of waffle was in 1725, but can be said to have originated in 1185 in France with the word Waffle, but much credit is given to the Dutch. It is modern innovation at its finest, a perfected version of the pancake. To fix the issue of syrup so sloppily slathered onto a pancake, the Dutch thought, let's make the pancake bigger and add pockets. That way, we use less batter per disc and add more functionality to this esteemed breakfast item. As such, waffles have the pro of being able to evenly spread syrup without getting your hands dirty, make more with less batter, and a bigger margin of error when cooking, as the longer you cook it, it usually just gets crispier. The only few cons of waffles mainly have to do with that you are restricted to whatever your waffle maker size is, which is usually much smaller than a pan. On that point, if you want to make waffles the easy way, a waffle maker is required, which is an entirely different cooking device that you may not be able to afford. With all these points in mind, it is very clear on what the best breakfast item is. Bacon. Fuck you, I love meat.